Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Monday, and all of our guests, including Amar Doman of the BC Lions, standing by. Brought to you by Bassan Motors. Ready to find your next vehicle? Visit Bassan Motors today to experience the difference for yourself. The friendly team looks forward to helping you drive home in the perfect vehicle for your needs and budget. Getting to your destination, it starts with them. Stop by their dealership located at 16315 Fraser Highway in Surrey, or check them out online at Basant Motors, BASANT Motors.com. BC Lions open their 2025 CFL season Saturday at BC Place against Edmonton. The concert kickoff. Rick, I know you're pumped about this. Maybe. Snoop Dogg joining us now, the man who put it all together, BC Lions owner since 2021, by the way, Amar Doman. Amar, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me back, guys.
How excited are you for Saturday?
Yeah, extremely excited about the game, the entertainment. The city's buzzing about it, and we're close to a sellout again. So that's, I think, evidence of what's happening.
Amar, we've had a lot of people ask us this question in our Delaney's inbox. It is Snoop Dogg. It is going to be sunny. Is the roof going to be open? Because it might need to be, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think some air conditioning might be required there. So some natural airflow, I think, out would be great for the fans and for the athletes. So let's assume it's going to be open. I think the weather stretch looks perfect. So I think we're going to have a great afternoon. We're starting a street party at 2:00, I might add. $5 beers are still around. We're going to be serving gin and juice, and then the doors are going to open around 5:30, 6. So get there early is what I would recommend.
Okay, I ask you this every single time you land one of these acts. I mean, LL Cool J, 50 Cent, One Republic, and now Snoop Dogg. And I said this in the previous segment, arguably the biggest of those acts. How the heck do you go about landing a name like that?
It's difficult and complicated. You know, there's a few things. We started to work on this after the Grey Cup wrapped up, which was fantastic. But to get a talent like Snoop, it's difficult. Number one, there's a lot of, radiuses where they can't play if they're, on a tour or this or that. Frankly, someone his level, picks and chooses. It's not just an agent saying, I signed you up. He wants to know where he's going. He wants to know who's involved, what the deal is. And, to get him, it was complicated, but certainly at the end of the day, once he found out what we were doing, and he's a major football fan, and he does a lot of philanthropy in the LA area with kids and youth. He's a good guy. And so he signed on and just, we couldn't be more thrilled when I got the word that, he's going to agree and he's coming in. So I had to hold it airtight for a little bit. And it was hard to hold that one because this is a serious act and it really helps the brand of the CFL and it's really working out here in our markets.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Amar, this is your fourth concert kickoff. In terms of raising interest level for your team and the CFL, you just gave me the answer there, but do you believe it's working?
100%. The young kids are coming in and Snoop's, even more relevant than he was, but really gelling that act, getting people back in the building is something that I wanted to do, create an event. And now we do have an event that everyone's anticipating and looking for. And look, I know we can't please everyone with the genre and music. If you do country, someone's mad. If you do rock, hey, the building's selling out like that really does evidence, I think a good, kick to the season. Get it going, hype everything up, and really make it a production because we really believe that the CFL is such a great product. The BC Lions are back, and it's really nice to put some class with the CFL and have a bunch of different acts come in and really jazz up a league that is wonderful, that just needed more attention. I think we got that happening out west here, guys.
Hey, Amar, last year was disappointing. Grey Cup at home and, an early exit in the playoffs. New coach, new GM. What's the feel for you about the team this year? What are your expectations?
Yeah, we just want to make the tournament. And I think, with a new coaching staff, there's obviously time that it takes to gel. We've got Nathan back as quarterback. There's a lot of roster changes. So I think it's going to take some time. So I don't expect us to come out and run the table here all of a sudden. I want the team to gel and just let them really get to know each other, get to know the new systems. I like the way the co-GMs are out of place now. Everyone's got their accountabilities clean. And I think that's already helping. There's more of a grittiness happening. I think Rick did a great job, got us to a level, and we got to get through that level. I think the pieces are in place for us to be very competitive as we start to gel. And then really it's about how we're doing in the fall. So, we'll hopefully be, light on the injuries and long on winning here this year, and looking forward to it. I'm just very excited about kickoff and how we're going to look.
There's going to be a new rink in Surrey. The Whitecaps are looking at a stadium at the PNE. What about you? Is there any chance you're looking at a new football stadium or maybe joining another group like the Whitecaps? Is any thoughts going on about that?
Currently it's complicated because of land. As we know, nothing's been built in years because of that, right? So, that rink is pretty small in Surrey, with all respect to it. It's certainly, it's an indoor thing and it's not for our sport or the Whitecaps. But we're constantly talking to different municipalities and the city of Vancouver, of course, about options. But, frankly, BC Place has been good to us. Pavco has been good. Sometimes there's things that are rigid we can't do. We understand that. But that's the house we're in. And, let's make the best of it. And, when you throw an event like this and you can hammer in, call it 54,000 people, that's pretty special as well. The only problem is sometimes when we get 30 or 35 in there, it still looks empty.
Yeah.
And that's just something that's been painful because the building is just so big. I think around 35 would be the right size, but this is where we are, and let's play some football.
Well, what about the CFL in general? You've been around now, the governors. You've been around the commissioners now for a while. When do you want this league to take the next step? TV ratings, attendance, all that stuff.
Yeah, the last 3 years, directionally, everything is up. And, it started out here in the West. Even Toronto's got it going. Montreal now has games that virtually every game is sold out. The RDS ratings, the TSN ratings are up. So all the arrows are up, and that's great with Stuart Johnson now coming in as our new commissioner. He's fantastic and bringing a whole new level of energy. Rolodex, contact list, all that stuff you want to say. And his energy is great. He's a CFL lover as well. So a lot of good things happening behind the scenes with the CFL. But more importantly, every single rating and metric is going up. And that's just wonderful for the league.
Mm-hmm. Amar, I'm a bit disappointed in Rick here. He spent the last week or so since the Snoop Dogg announcement was made wondering why, and you touched on this, no rock and roll. Is there any chance that John Cougar is going to come to one of your concert kickoffs?
Rock and roll.
We talked about this a couple of times, about the home opener and who to pick. And it's tough because, it's put yourself in that seat. You can't just pick who you like. Mm-hmm. You want to pick someone that, crosses a lot of different age groups and things. And I love John Cougar like you guys and all of that. The thing is, the young kids who I'm really trying to rebuild into the fan base have no clue who those guys are. And it's tough because I'm really after that young generation. I was coaching football all weekend and, meeting parents and kids. They're all just like, wow, you got Snoop.
Yes.
So the young kids know. So really, would I like to have a John Cougar? Absolutely. Even Loverboy. All these guys, I love those guys. But we want to put on a big show for the next group coming through. Yeah. And that's who we're after. And that's who we want them to come back. Get them in the building. Let them taste the CFL. And they're going to come back.
Yeah, you don't have to explain yourself. Rick doesn't know what he's talking about. Snoop Dogg, bang on. How's the coaching going, by the way?
The coaching's been fun. We were 3-0 on the weekend, which was great.
Nice.
Super on the North Shore. And the amount of kids that are involved, I was handing out hats and just, it's amazing. The parents are in. We have a wait list now. I think there's over 1,800 kids on the North Shore playing flag. Yeah. It's just unbelievably popular. So we know that when we create a young fan, and we've got BC Lions on every sleeve of all 1,800 kids, super nice. Cool, no matter what team they're wearing. But really, once they become a fan of playing the game, girls, boys, all of them, they start to look into what's happening and watching football. And that's what was missing out here a little bit. We've invested heavily in 3 years, and the payoff is there with these beautiful kids running around, having a blast and learning the game of football. Yep. Could not be happier.
Yeah, it's a gateway. Both my boys played. They absolutely loved it. Good on you, Amar. Well, it's not Saturday yet, but congratulations on everything. Everybody's looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Guys, thanks very much for the support, and go Lions. Let's have a great afternoon and evening on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much, Amar. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
again.
Thank you.
Amar Doman. We'll have him on soon. Boy, he's impressive.